So this is our low waste, more food class. And the reason we record it is because sometimes people have great intentions of coming and then life happens. So we always like to record it so that everyone has a chance to catch up if that happens. Now, the reason we're doing the low waste, more food class is because, in case you haven't heard it, we have a brand new book, strangely enough, called Low Waste, More Food with Thermomix. And there's a small collection of the recipes that have gone up on Cookie but they're only the TM6 recipes. So at the moment, to get the full experience, you need the book. And I have to tell you, this is one of those books where you want the book as well as Cookie because it has pages and pages of stuff that aren't guided recipes. It has things, it's got stuff about composting, it's got stuff on how to use your waste, it's got stuff on how to grow, it's got beautiful charts about when produce is seasonal, so you know you're getting stuff that's fresh and has really low, air miles on it and all the rest of it. It's a great book. And I'm someone who is really passionate about reducing waste and, helping the planet. So the fact that the book is also printed on recycled paper within Australia is ticking lots of boxes for me. So I highly recommend, it's available in our mix shop. It will be available in coming to good bookstores near you. But at the moment, you can only get it on our mix shop. And of course, as always, when you go to the mix shop, don't forget to put down the name of your consultant. So that's the basis for the class. Just for those of you who haven't met me before, my name's Teresa, obviously, because it's on the screen. And I am the Business Development Manager for the Thermomix branch that we call Vivid. We are based in Sydney, which, coincides nicely with the Vivid Light Festival. But it's also because we believe that as a branch, our whole ethos is about being, vibrant and switched on and clear and full of life and fun. So that's why we're called Vivid. And we cover a large part of Sydney. We overlap with other branches. Luckily, we're a business that works really cooperatively together. And we're, in fact, such a flexible organisation that I don't live in Sydney. I actually live a couple of hours south of Sydney on a small property. So I have dogs and teenagers, and it's a Saturday afternoon, so I'm just apologising in advance in case any of them forget the rules that they're not meant to interrupt mum cooking, because, it's real life. So I've got a number of my beautiful, sorry, if I just ask someone to unmute, just ignore me. That was me trying to let people in. Multitasking is not my strength. So I've got a number of my beautiful consultants who are scattered across Sydney who are going to be showcasing things tonight. This afternoon, but I'm actually starting. So I am going to be showing you one of our new recipes. Now, while my Thermomix turns on, you'll see that I've got two in the background. And one of them is our limited edition black Thermomix that we sold out of. So you can't actually buy it. But the reason I've left it sitting there, apart from the fact that it's very pretty, is because I wanted to show you the glider board it's sitting on as I move it out of the way to use my white. So if you haven't seen, these are the glider boards that are coming into our mix shop. They are a beautiful weight. They weigh about 2 kilos, so they're nice and solid. And to move my Thermomix, all I have to do is lift and pull and lift and push back, because underneath it's got feet that hold it in place, but it's also got a couple of glider feet. So that was really easy to move, as opposed to the one I'm going to be using where I have to lift and bring it over. So I'll just move that one even further out of the way. There we go, protecting my feet and showing you. Now, because this recipe is still in the book and not on Cookie look, I'm going to show you a few, we love a good product. The beautiful bamboo recipe stand, bamboo being a great renewable resource, available on the mix shop, is holding my book ready to go. So while we get going, I can see another couple of my beautiful team leaders on board. So I'm going to tag, hopefully, I'm making Linda a co-host so she can help, because I live in the country and sometimes my internet fails and we don't want that to happen. So Linda, if you can help let people in as well, that would be awesome. So I'm not going to cook the whole recipe now because that would be incredibly boring to watch. But with this apple and whole banana loaf, the big trick is we're using the whole banana. We are not throwing the peel away. I know, Interesting. And the idea here is that the peel is packed full of fibre and potassium. So instead of throwing it away, we're actually going to put it into the cake. Now, the first step of the recipe I've already done, and that was I sliced up 3 apples and I sliced up the skin of a banana, had them in the simmering basket, and they've been steaming. So what I'm going to do now is using a spoon. The recipe tells me to put the apple, which skin on as well, because you don't want to lose any of those nutrients. I'm popping the apple into a separate bowl and putting it aside. And then I'll show you what steamed banana peel looks like. You'll be shocked. Anyone who's ever had bananas exposed to the air for a while or in the freezer or whatever, you'll be shocked to know it goes quite black. You won't be shocked at all. So let me keep going and just get this apple out, which I didn't want to do earlier because it wasn't finished cooking. So getting the apple out, and then I'm going to add all the ingredients in addition to the apple that I've steamed. So it's about 3 apples. Half of 1 apple has been sliced quite thinly so that it is ready to go on the top of the cake as, you know, a bit of garnish, make it look a bit fancy. And the rest of it is just chopped into chunks, core taken out, but the apple is just into, you know, 2 to 3 centimetre chunks. Sorry, I realise this is a little bit boring to watch, but you don't need to see that. Okay, what we've got left is, there's my lighting, steamed banana peel. Who would have thought? Okay, so the next step now, and that was just steamed for 10 minutes. So the next step now is that I'm actually going to tip the steaming water out of the bowl. Again, this water, if you put it into a jug and let it cool down, is great to go onto your garden because some of those nutrients out of the banana in the steaming process have actually fallen out into the water. So I've got a jug just off screen that I prepared earlier. And once that's cooled down, it'll go onto one of my pot plants outside. And then I don't need to wash the bowl. I just pop the bowl straight back on and I am adding the apple into it and turning that steamed. I had green apples, but you can use whatever apples you want. I'm now going to blend those for 30 seconds on speed 4. So I'm going to use my timer so I don't get too carried away with having a big fat chat. 30 seconds, speed 4, it'll be noisy for 30 seconds. If you can hear me, effectively what I'm doing is making apple sauce, apple puree, the stuff that, you know, you buy in containers from the shops for a few dollars. Much cheaper to steam and make your own. Also tastes better. And if you like slightly sweeter apples, you can get some of those beautiful red-skinned apples and they will work very nice. Just a few more seconds. And what I have to do now is take that apple out, pop it into a bowl, but I'll just show you. It hasn't really pureed it as such, so it's not runny. It's just nicely chopped. So that's actually going to come nicely into the cake with all of that, all those nutrients and all of that lovely flavour and moisture saved. Now, the interesting thing about this banana loaf is that it doesn't have any eggs in it. And one of the great substitutes that you can use for eggs, if you want to be egg-free, and also for oil, is actually using apple sauce instead of oil. You still get the same moisture, but you get a lovely sweetness. So if you've got people who, for whatever reason, you know, can't have oils and stuff, and to do apple, you also need to add a bit of chia seed because that gives it a nice gluiness instead of the eggs. So there you go. All right. Apples are out. Now I'm popping my steamed banana skin in. It says I'm also going to add 90 grams of oats. That's going to get milled together for seconds on speed 8. So I don't need to set the time. I'm just going to turn it to speed 8 and stop it when it gets to 6. Okay, and then I'm going to add flour, baking powder, bicarb soda and cinnamon. And again, on that low waste front, I just want to point out, so I'm using things that I already had in my cupboard. I haven't had to go and buy fancy ingredients here. But I just want to point out, making your own baking powder and putting it in a big jar, much cheaper than buying your own. And it reduces all that packaging you get when you buy the little tins of it. The recipe's on Cookie Do. It's also in all your basic cookbooks. Definitely something to keep in mind. So I've pre-weighed, and so I don't have to use my scales, but I've got some plain flour. I have got I always forget to get my measuring spoon out in advance. There you go. Okay, I need 2 teaspoons of baking powder.
Oh.
Okay, and a teaspoon of bicarb. Oh, sorry, half a teaspoon of bicarb. Don't be like me. Check your recipe, because if you put in too much bicarb, which I have done on occasion, you end up with a very fizzy cake. It sort of ruins it. And 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. And again, buying your cinnamon in big containers or buying it in packets and refilling your containers is another great way to reduce your waste. I'm actually not going to measure that because I'm a bit of a believer that you can't have too much cinnamon. And then I'm going to mix it all together, add the applesauce, the banana, and a couple of other things. So we're mixing it for 5 seconds on speed 5. We're getting it. I forgot that I didn't set a timer. I would have just let it keep going. Saturday afternoon, I tell you, chaos. Now, I just want to show you. So we've got, it's a little bit quite dry at the moment, despite, you know, the banana peel, etc. So when I scrape it down, you can see the banana peel gives it that slightly blackish tone. So now, as we've got the apple is going in, and these are our bamboo bowls on the mix shop, also better than plastic, beautiful and light. I love them. We use them for snacks and all the rest of it. Apple, the banana that came out of the peel that I've saved in a container, some maple syrup. Again, buying a big container from Costco is a great way to reduce your packaging. And if you don't have maple syrup, you can substitute anything else like honey. You could put in brown sugar if you don't mind that more processed sugar. There's lots of different substitutes that you can do there. And it says walnuts, but I'm actually going to add almonds because my walnuts turned out to have been in the pantry for just a little bit too long. And no one wants your dinner, your cake ruined by rancid nuts. And then I also need, I'm going to tear that because I need a bit of grapeseed oil. So this one does have a little bit of oil, but it's quite light. And there we go. I'm going to blend that together for 10 seconds, and then I'm going to pop it in our baking tin. So 10 seconds on speed 4. This time I'll watch the clock because, you know, that's the best option. And once that opens, I'm going to pop it into our silicone-lined baking tin that you can grab on the mix shop. This one actually comes with a lid, so if you're making bread, you can make yourself a square sandwich loaf. And then I'm going to, I'll just show you what that batter looks like now that it's all done. Look at that, beautiful. You wouldn't know there's banana peel in it. I'm going to pop that into the tin, and then I'm going to arrange the apple slices on top, and then I'm going to pop it into the oven. So you don't need to see that part. Hopefully it will be done. It cooks for about 40 minutes. Now, I've got a temperamental gas oven, so, you know, anything could happen, but hopefully it will be done for me to show you at the end. So while I finish up doing that, I'll hand you over to our next presenter, who is Tammy. So let me take the spotlight off me because that's quite enough of me. Now, Tammy, would you like me to show both your screens? Yep. Hang on. Add spotlight. Okay, Tammy's got 2 screens so that you can see her and see what she's doing. So I'm going to mute. Tammy, are you off mute now?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks,
Beautiful.
Teresa.
Over to you.
Hi everyone, welcome to our fun afternoon of cooking. And first of all, I'd like to say that I couldn't have done without the little kitchen toolkit today because I had to do some fine work with the lemons when I do my Aperol cocktail later. And this peeler is so sharp. So zesting the lemons and getting the lemon peel off without the pith was really, really easy. So I'm making the lamb sausage ragu. Now it's not on Cookadoo yet, so I'm reading it from the cookbook. So I'm going to start cooking. I'm not using lamb sausages. My local butcher makes his own sausages. Something I like to use is my local people, not so much buying my sausages. I know what's in it. I know he uses really good ingredients. So I'm going to start today. I've got to mill some Parmesan cheese. So that's going on for 10 seconds. Now, the thing that is great about the Thermomix, I don't have to do a lot of thinking. 10 seconds and my Parmesan, which I can buy in blocks, which means you get more value for money by buying it in your blocks. And then, sorry, So that's the milling. Can you see that? The milling of the Parmesan cheese. So I'm going to pop that in my bowl. Now I don't have to clean the bowl. Next thing is the fenugreek and some cumin. Now seeds, I have fenugreek seeds, but I didn't have cumin seeds. I just used what was in my cupboard, which was just the powder, but that's not a problem. For 10 seconds, oops, sorry. The horse is bolting, sorry. 10 seconds, speed 9. So that's going to blitz those seeds. Won't be a second. Did you know you can change the music on your Thermomix too? So if you want to go through settings, you can change how long it does the little ding for and how long it does the music for. So there you go, that's been ground down. Now the next step is to add the onion. I've already prepared my things to make this a little bit quicker. Now I don't have garlic cloves, so I have some in a jar, which I use when I do my tandoori paste because it takes quite a bit of garlic and ginger. Add onion, garlic, vegetables. Now these veggies are my veggies from the end of the week. I haven't gone out and bought anything special. I had a mushroom, some cauliflower, some very sad broccoli, and the zucchini is the only one I had and it needed using. So that's all going in the machine as well. And oil. How much oil do I need? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide across and I'm going to go to my scales. And the oil is 20 grams. The next stage is to chop it for 3 seconds, speed 7. This also shows you when you're using created recipes and you have some of your own recipes, or if you want to try and cook from a cookbook, you can just use, you don't have to use Cookadoo, you can use manual cooking, which is what we're doing because we're actually reading from the book. So that's getting chopped 3 seconds, speed 7, back in a second. That's all those veggies all minced up, which is going to go and make that ragu beautiful. It smells amazing, I must say. Now it's going to ask me to add some wine back to the scales. 50 grams of wine. little bit over, it doesn't matter. 50 grams of wine, and I'm going to cook that for 5 minutes. So back to my screen. 5 minutes, 100 degrees. So the temperature is the one in the middle. 100 degrees. Now it wants me to reverse it, the blades. So I'm just going to press the little blades at the bottom there, and I'm going to put it on speed 1. And that's going to go for 5 minutes. Now just remember this month, the kitchen toolkit and also the book which Teresa has already shown you, that's your gift when you purchase a Thermomix.
Thank you, Tammy. Are you going to switch over and maybe show us the Aperol while we're waiting?
Do you want the Aperol now?
Please. Yeah.
So excuse me, I'm just going to change my camera. Is it working?
We can see it perfectly. Thank you. Awesome.
Okay. So the Aperol is in Cookadoo. So I'm saved it to my day today. I'm going to find it and I'm going to start cooking. I hope everyone can see it okay. Going into my week, and I've saved it for today. So I click on and I start cooking. It's asking me for 30 grams of raw sugar, which I've already started on. 2 pieces of lemon peel. Now this is all the lemon that I got off my lemons today. I'm actually going to freeze that because sometimes you just need to blitz up some lemon for some pasta or different dishes. So I'm going to freeze that today. How many times have you cut up a lemon, juiced it and not kept the peel and just thrown it in the bin? So measuring cup. That's going for 10 seconds, speed 10. And where it's always wonderful, I've got a different noise on my black one. That's blitzed everything up beautifully. And the sugar has gone down and then milled down to some caster sugar. And I'm just going to scrape down the lemon. And as with all the guided cooking, I don't have to think about it. Place it in a bowl. Even tells me
when you're in the
clean the bowl, not clean the bowl. Place it in the bowl. Set it aside.
Told you, didn't I?
Just one. This one's in guided cooking, so my husband will be able to make this for me. Okay, pressing next. 200 grams of ice cubes. I'm just going to the freezer. $130 grams of lemon flesh. Now they asked for this today for no white pith, and that's why I said the kitchen toolkit, the paring knives are so fine that I was able to dice up the lemon. Whoops. Insert the measuring cup. Eight seconds. Before I go any further, the lemons I used today I've got them here in my egg carton with used up eggshells. So this has been in my fridge for making a frittata this week. So what I'm doing later, there's a special eggshell and lemon wash you can do, which really sparkles up your bowl. So I'll be using those later. Instead of them going in the bin, they'll be helping me clean my Thermomix bowls. Ooh, that smells yum. So that's like a lemony ice that's in there now. Show you 150 grams of Aperol. Next, citrus sugar. I don't have any citrus sugar, so I'm just going to add, that's this one they want, sorry. There we go. Set measuring cup. Speed 4. Now I just have to strain that into a jug. I'm just going to flick back to my ragu for a second, Lee. Is that okay?
Absolutely, because you've got to pop it on for another 10 minutes, I think. So yeah, switch over.
Look at this incredible multitasking, Tammy. You're wonderful.
Yeah, but I've been taught by the best. So I knew nothing when I started my business with all of this technology, and everyone has been so kind in helping me along the way. So I'm going to add tomatoes, pepper. Where's my pepper? Where'd it go? Oh,
Is it near your laptop?
might be. No, I'll find some in a minute. Pepper, salt. Insert the simmering basket. Now I've already put the sausage goes inside the simmering basket. Now these are called Godfather sausages. I don't know exactly what's in them, but I know that they're pretty good. Simmering basket. Now this is going to cook for 10 minutes. And again, we're using don't need guided cooking because we can just use these 10 minutes, 100 degrees. Now we're going to reverse these blades again. So in one direction they cut and the other direction they're just mixing the food, and it's going on first speed. 1. Now I'm going to turn it around again. Thank you for your patience.
Look at that technology go.
So I'm just using a sieve that I've got at home here. I don't have anything special, so I'm just popping that through.
Tammy will be sending out her address for anyone who wants to drop in for a nice afternoon cocktail. Not really. I think her husband's waiting around the corner to do the tasting.
The people that will be here at some point. When I do a lot of my cooking, I just, I also, the neighbours love it because I just deliver food sometimes. And that's a nice big thing about food too, because you can share it with your family, share it with your community.
And we've talked about this before, haven't we? It's that thing about less waste is if you make too much, you can pop it in the freezer, but you can also gift it to other people. So if you've made a big batch of something, you can, package up a portion of it and gift it to a neighbour, someone who's struggling. And sometimes just not having to cook dinner is an absolute gift. So it's definitely something that we encourage as much as possible because it builds community.
Okay, I've strained that to the best of my ability, I think, for the time frame that we have. And then it asked me to divide it into the cocktail glasses. So here's some I prepared earlier.
Ooh la la.
Can you see my glass?
Yes, we can. On your screen, they look beautiful. This is where I regret living a couple of hours away.
Yes.
I could do with an Aperol roundabout now. So the full name is Aperol Lemon Sour. And this is the next bit that Tammy's going to do is the slightly exciting bit of the...
This is where it's telling me to, luckily I have an extra bowl because I have to clean that bowl. So,
yes, we love our spare bowls.
I know. Second bowls. Amazing. So, butterfly whisk, one I prepared earlier. That goes in. And look, even on the Thermomix, if you're unsure, it even gives you a little video and it shows you how to put it in. How awesome is that?
We've had a couple of people asking about the lemon and eggshell wash. So we will make sure we do, it's not on Cookie Do. We will we'll make sure we explain that properly to you.
Yeah,
now,
we have a sheet of cooking methods that I give out. So
we will definitely share it, and we can share it in the follow-up email. Now, the other thing is, for anyone who's watching this on recording, I should note, those of us who are live on screen are seeing two of Tammy's screens. So, Tammy, what's in the bowl?
Okay, in the bowl is, I never knew it was called this, Aquafaba. And this is the liquid that your chickpeas come in. So normally when we use chickpeas for casseroles or making hummus, I don't know about anyone else, but that's always gone down the sink. So we're using this today to make a foam. So it just says to pop it in and without the measuring cup in. So we're not going to put the measuring cup in because I'm assuming by that, Teresa, maybe it wants the air to flow through it.
Absolutely, because this is all about aeration.
It's not spitting out at me, so that's good. And look what I did. I had no oranges, those ones that you hydrate. So I tested my oven and I got some little hydrated oranges just from, had an orange in my fruit bowl. So there you go.
Beautiful. I actually bought myself a dehydrated during one of the last lockdowns and it's still sitting in a box. So my oven tends to get used. I really need to do that. Now, the other thing with Aquafaba that we were talking about the other day, Tammy, that we've never tried, but a lot of our fellow consultants have tried, is using Aquafaba to make meringues. So if you've got an egg-free person that you want to make a treat for, you can make meringues using that Aquafaba, that chickpea juice. So absolutely using all the product, not just part of the product. And Amber is in the chat that they're amazing meringues. Yes, Tammy Broad also tells me, the other Tammy B in our branch, tells me that they're amazing too. How's it looking, Tammy? Ready to show us?
Yeah.
Look at that.
And that's just the Aquafaba. So I can imagine with making meringues, it would whip up beautifully. So next, it says, oh, something else. See, I haven't made this recipe before, so this is something good for everybody.
She was going to practice it, but we thought maybe there could be too many cocktails.
Okay, so then for 30 seconds, it says, turn the selector to speech and meanwhile follow the next step. Oh, I don't know what the next step is, but let's see.
Why don't you use your preview button?
Oh, thank you.
So for those of you who've got a TM6, you can actually preview what the next step is, so you're not caught unawares.
Okay. Now I know what I have to do. Thank you, Teresa.
That's all right. So I'm curious to know what else people use Aquafaba for while Tammy finds, what's your next ingredient, Tammy? Is it a bit of sugar?
I've got to add the remaining citrus sugar.
There we go. Oh,
now 30 seconds at speed 3.5.
So effectively, she's making meringue. She's got the Aquafaba, now she's adding the citrus sugar, so they'll be tangy. And these ones are going on top of the cocktails, but you could also pop them in the oven and bake them, which would be very nice. And there's great sharing in the chat. Alexis, hi Alexis, long time no see, says that it's a really good substitute for egg whites when she's doing her gluten-free bread. And Jennifer has said that also you can make great pavlovas for vegans. I'm going to stop throwing out my chickpea juice, people. This is amazing. How are we going, Tammy? You've added all of that.
Sorry, this is taking a bit long.
That's all right. We're all learning.
Okay, just add this to the top of the cocktail. I'll just do one.
Oh, look at that. Do you know yesterday was International Cocktail Day?
Oh.
So we're just a day late.
And then, just give me 1 second. I know I'm running late.
That's all right.
Then you just pop your dehydrated orange, which I'm so proud of myself that I did today.
Oh, look at that.
I'm going to try it.
I think you should. All right. We're going to leave Tammy with her amazing Aperol lemon sour that has got the rest of us feeling a little bit envious. And I'm going to take you off. I'm going to remove you from Spotlight. Hang on, I'll remove that one from Spotlight. So now hopefully the people who are watching later on the recording get to see the beautiful finished product, which is the one sitting at the bottom of the screen. Okay, we're going to leave Tammy to finish those cocktails, and I'm going to pop over to Leah.
Thank you.
I can see you, Leah. I'm going to replace you on the big screen, and you can tell everyone my favourite dish. I know what you're making.
Yes, it is a beautiful dish. It's a silverbeet and mushroom pasta. So you can actually, chop it or make it and use it for pizzas, as a topping on a pizza, or even on rice would be beautiful too, which I am going to do today. So basically, I've actually done the first step. This is a TM6 recipe, so it's using that high heat function. So the first step, it does ask you to pre-cook the pasta, which I actually have done. I've got ready. I've also got some rice ready as well. And did you know that you can actually cook your pasta in the thermoservice? So if you've got one, you can do that too. So in my bowl, I added 4 garlic cloves. I then chopped it up, of course, and I used the stalks or the stems of some spinach. So a lot of people, dispose of them because they don't use them. They can be a little bit tough. In this recipe, we use the bottom parts as well as a red onion. So they've been chopped up, popped in with the 100 grams of red onion and some oil, and using the high heat function on the TM6, I did saute them, and I'll just show you. It smells beautiful. And when you do cook the silverbeet stems, they're quite beautiful and sweet. So that's the red onions and the silverbeet and the garlic, which was sauteed. My next step is to add in some white wine, which I have weighed out and is ready. Then we pop in 200 grams of mushrooms. Now it does ask for button mushrooms. I had some Swiss brown. So, and I've got a couple of white in there as well. So just to cut them in half. Mine were quite large, so I went a quarter. So in that goes.
I actually sliced mine the other day, Leah, because mine were quite big as well. I just sliced them up and it came out beautifully.
There you go. And then we are popping on the lid the lid without the MC. So this is just to allow the steam to escape. As it does that for the next 5 minutes, I will, I'll just, have a chat to you about what's next so we can move on to the next presenter. So the next part of this is we're using the rest of the leaves. We just finely chop them up, which I've done, which is just here. So I've just chopped them up finely, and we'll come back later on. I'm going to add in some passata. So my parents actually make passata. There is a passata recipe. I do make it too, but they make it in big batches. So yeah, they gift it to me. Sometimes I make it just small quantities for myself, but it's absolutely beautiful. You can use it in pizza. You can have it on hand in the fridge. So like I said, recipe on Cookie Do, which is gorgeous. So we're going to come back and, or actually, maybe we won't come back. Should we keep talking?
We'll see.
We'll move on actually.
I think we'll see the sauce. Yeah, we'll see the finished product at the end later.
But it's really nice and quick and easy. So
it is, and I love it because it uses up vegetables. For me, honestly, silver beet is such an easy veggie to grow in the garden. I put a couple of seedlings in at the beginning of our very first lockdown, and I am still picking leaves daily, like 2 years later, from those plants. My chickens eat a lot of it, but yeah, if you're looking at a couple of simple things, I highly recommend growing silver beet and spinach. Okay, thank you, Leah. We are over to Melanie, who has got an amazing recipe that is out of our beautiful new book. How are you doing, Melanie? All good. Over to you.
Yes, you can hear me. So I'm very excited to showcase this dish today because it's not something that I would ever think about making myself. So it's actually it's called vegan pulled pork. And again, as we've already seen in this class, we're going to be using the banana peel. So the peel of the banana to make a dish that will resemble pulled pork. So again, just like Leah has done, I have already done the first step in this recipe. This recipe is currently on Cookie Do from our brand new cookbook. And so this mixture that I've got here is just an onion mixture, and it's just onion and oil, and you're sauteing that with some herbs, some paprika and chili and cumin. So that's 10 minutes worth of cooking time there. So I'm just going to pop that back into my Thermomix bowl. Lovely, lovely flavor. And then what we're going to do is add our banana peel. So if you can see here what I've got, and it's looking a bit brown and a bit gross, but this is just banana peel that basically what I've done, if you can imagine the peel of a banana, you're going to get rid of the stalks and the little bits at the bottom. And then what you're going to do is you're going to, use a spoon first to wipe out all of this white flesh that's on here. So you're literally just left with the peel. And what the book recommends that you do with that white peel that you've scraped off is pop that in your compost. Now, of course, that's really the same flesh as what is in the banana itself. So in theory, if you were going to make some banana bread or something with the banana flesh, then you could just pop that into there, but it does go brown very quickly. It oxidizes very quickly. So if not, then to make it truly low waste, what we'd recommend doing is popping that part along with these bits into your compost. Then once you've done that and you've scraped all that white out, then you literally just get a fork and you run down the banana peel, your fork, and that basically shreds the peel into little strips for you. Okay, so you can start to imagine the pulled pork effect. And then, yeah, you just kind of want it in little pieces. So then you can kind of, once you've done that, then you can kind of trim it into smaller pieces. Okay, so that I've already done all that for you. So that's 2 banana peel worth of pulled pork. And after the onion mixture is cooked, that literally just goes into our Thermomix bowl. Again, these little bowls from the mix shop, absolutely brilliant. Use them all the time. And literally that onion mixture and the banana peel mixture are going to cook without the measuring cup for 5 minutes. 5 minutes on reverse, they're going to saute at 120 degrees. So really, really easy. Again, a literal hands-free recipe. Step away from your bench, do whatever else you need to do at this point, and come back to some really interesting pulled pork. The only other thing then that we do at the end is we pop in some barbecue sauce. So 30 grams of barbecue sauce, and we cook it for another minute. And of course, barbecue sauce is something that you can make yourself in your Thermomix if you've got one. And there are recipes on Cookie Do that are really easy for barbecue sauce, as well as tomato sauce and other condiments like that. So that's a really good, just in thinking about no waste, that's a really good option to start thinking through what are some of the pantry staples, what are some things that we can actually be making from scratch. I don't know about you, but I am just flabbergasted at the moment at the cost of living. It's just insane how much everything is costing. So I am, really trying to have a look at my pantry and have a look at what I buy versus what I make, and see whether there's alternatives and see whether that's practical. Now, of course, not everything is going to be, but really, really helpful if you can, and especially quickly and hands-free, make some things rather than buying them. So that actually leads me to something else that's in our brand new cookbook, which is nut butters. So I don't know whether you know this, for any of you watching along today, but you can make nut butter in your Thermomix. So peanut butter, of course, but really using any nuts. So what I have here from the gorgeous cookbook that we're showcasing today is actually a spiced nut butter. It's a chai spiced nut butter. So it's actually got flavors of chai in it. And I've just whipped this up, and can I tell you, my house smells amazing, absolutely amazing. And I just can't wait to dive into this. I am 35 weeks pregnant at the moment, and peanut butter or nut butters are something that I have been craving so much. So we're going through peanut butter like, just crazy. So I just thought I'd show you consistency of this. So I've added some coconut oil to it, but you can see it's quite drippy. So I could, if I wanted it to be like less drippy, then I could have added less coconut oil. But I am actually really happy with that. And I reckon I would probably store this in the fridge. You can store it in the pantry as well. But if I pop it in the fridge, then perhaps it will kind of go a little bit firmer anyway. And literally I eat this stuff on everything at the moment, including like celery sticks and apple and, you know, all of that. And what I've done is I've done a combination of almond and cashew for this one here. So sterilized my jar in my Varoma. Don't know whether you know you can do that, but again, a no waste thing to keep old jars and then sterilize them is a really, really good option, because then you have a beautiful glass sterilized jar to put condiments and things that you make in your Thermomix into. So I just toasted off some raw almonds and cashews, get that beautiful flavor in the oven, and then pop those into the Thermomix bowl with and mill them for a minute, and then pop in your coconut oil and your spices. So for the chai spiced one, which I chose to do, I just added ginger, nutmeg, allspice, and cardamom, and just little bits of those. But some of the other recommendations that are in the brand new book of our Thermomix book was like a spicy, sweet and spicy, or the ABC, classic ABC nut butter. So yeah, some really good hints and tips there on creating something like a nut butter rather than paying $5 or whatever it is from the supermarket for something like that. Healthy, you get to choose how strong or how weak the flavors are if you're going to do something like a chai spiced one. And I just reckon, that this will make like a beautiful gift for someone, particularly someone who loves those chai flavors. I think, come Christmas time, that would be a really nice thing to give, and something really different, something that, people probably wouldn't receive.
I love that, Mel. And of course, the other thing around the low waste is that if you buy a big bag of nuts, you're saving on all that packaging. You're saving on, when you buy your nut butters, they tend to come in plastic jars rather than glass jars. Yeah. So all of that is good for the environment, as well as good for the budget and good for the taste buds. And Anne-Marie's popped in beer nuts and chili powder or cayenne is a good combination. Ooh, it would be. But hey, you've got banana skins to show us.
Yes. I do. So we have cooked those. Those have been cooking for 5 minutes, and with our onion mixture, of course. I don't know whether you can see that very clearly. But so that's 5 minutes worth. And then literally all that it's asking us to do is pop in that barbecue sauce, which I'm going to do. So that's all pre-measured, 30 grams of that. And then, like I said, we'll cook that for another minute. And then we'll see the final result. And I think, again, just what the book recommends is that, you use it as if it was pulled pork. So you can use it. So again, I'm just going to pop that on, the lid on without the measuring cup. So we want that steam to be escaping for 1.5 minutes. We're going to saute that. So the idea with the vegan pulled pork is that it's a vegan or vegetarian option that you use as if you were using pulled pork. So, use it on sliders, on toasties, on wraps, or even on like a cheese board around, cheese and crackers. And perhaps, I'm yet to actually taste it properly, but you would never know. So you could serve it.
And that's the reason we decided to make it, isn't it, Mel? We're hearing from lots of our colleagues that it's actually really tasty and their families haven't realised that it's not meat. So when it's finished cooking, I might leave you to finish that. We'll go to Tina, and then when it's finished, you can come back and show us the finished product and give us your verdict. Magnificent. Thank you. Okay, let's find Tina, who is, as always, I've got you here. Tina, who's had her hair done since I saw her only a few days ago. Over to you.
Okay, hi, my name is Tina, and I'm going to be making pickles. Now, a lot of us, we do make pickles, and I want you to put it in the chat what pickles you've made, and you'd think it's the easiest thing you'd want to make. You can use your regular pots and pans, boil up the water, sterilize, make the pickling liquid in another pot, and let it go and boil up away. And then we have the vegetables, and it can be easily done with just regular pots. So now I'm going to be showing you the benefit of having the convenience of the Thermomix cooking the pickles for you. And the one thing you need is one thing to cook the vegetables and the other thing to make the pickling liquid. Firstly, I'm going to do the pickling liquid. And because we wanted to speed it up, I've kind of like brought the pickling liquid up to a temperature. So what I wanted to do is just make the vinegar. So I have vinegar in my Thermomix already, and I'm making quite a bit. So literally with pickling liquid, you can do as much as you want. This is all 100% vinegar, and and I'm going to change my camera setting. I've got the sugar in there, which I've already melted, and I'm going to put some bay leaves. I'm going to put some peppercorns and some mustard seeds. Now the ratio is as much as or little as you want. And this is how it looks like. All I want to do is to sterilize it and to have it a little bit warm so that it's ready to go to be a pickling liquid. So I'm going to go and do that. So it's already, as I said, it's already warmed up because we've done it ahead of time, and we wanted to save you all the trouble of watching that. I'm just going to put 2 minutes, and I'm going to put 100 degrees, 80 degrees. It's going to be sterilizing the spices that I just put in. So speed 1 or stir. So 2 minutes, off it goes. So the second thing you needed to do is to get the vegetables going. So the vegetables needs to be scalded by, again, sterilizing it. But with the benefit of the Thermomix, you can actually use the water that we are going to be boiling the vegetables, and it literally is scalded. You want to just scald it, remove any bacteria on the surface of the vegetables, and then you want to take it out really quickly because you want a crisp vegetable. You don't want to have a soggy, kind of flabby kind of vegetable, right? So I'll show you exactly what I do, but this is a tip I love, is that with the 1.7 liter of water, I've brought it to a boil with the kettle mode. But this time, just like what Melanie said, I put my varoma right on top. And in my varoma, I put my jars. So you can sterilize and you can heat up the water at the same time. So I did just that. The water is 70 degrees now because we've been waiting, but we'll take that right off right now. And the other little plus that I wanted to show you is that with that water, I've also put in the blade cover. Can you see the blade cover? So this is going to be the liquid that will scald the vegetable. Now, this is the tip that is very important. All vegetables have a different cooking time. So I've chosen 2 vegetables predominantly because one takes lesser time to cook and the other takes a lot more. So we've got the carrots, and I've got the Dutch carrots right here. So I'm going to put that in. That's going to take about 3 minutes. So I'm going to put that in. Again, the blade cover is in there. And I'm not going to cook the cucumbers at all because we don't want soft and wet cucumbers. So 3 minutes. And I'm going to put it at 100. So I'm going to let the pickling liquid now is done. I want it to cool down. Okay, and I'm just going to speed 1, speed stir, it doesn't matter. Okay, you can close it if you want. So what we want to do is that we just want to have the carrots a little bit cooked. So 3 minutes is sufficient. But with the cucumbers, we want to make sure that it's about 10 seconds and we take it right out. Okay, so that's going to go on. And what happens here is that once it's done, I'm going to use this again, a very clever tip. I think it's clever anyway. It's to use your varoma as a colander instead. So when the veggies are done, all I need to do is I will just pop it into a bowl and have the varoma sitting right on top of it. Okay, so the varoma acts like a sieve, so it's very useful to have the varoma. And the varoma is also great for sieving your pasta, anything that you want to blanch. It's a really good tool, and it's perfect for some of your sinks where it's nice and narrow. It sits in there and kind of supports itself on the sink, right? So some of us have it, some of us don't, but you know what? That's what the varoma is there for. It can take quite a big capacity. Okay, so we've got 1 minute and 47 seconds. We can actually shorten that to time. So now what I've done is that I fast forwarded and I've made a batch earlier on in a pickling jar that I've chosen. These are regular Morello cherry jars that I've gotten, and I've put the cucumbers in there, and I've put the carrots in there, and what I do is that with just the pickling liquid, I'm just going to pour it in, and that's it. And it takes about a month before it gets nice and ready for you to eat, or you can just give it a go and just take it a week after and see whether it's ready or not. Sometimes it does take a little bit less time. What I've used here is double strength vinegar because it just does the job and gets it done quicker. I use double strength vinegar for everything from cleaning up to having it in my food. So, and it's also a great tip if you wanted to get your varoma bowl cleaned up. Cook something with vinegar, it's going to clean up the bowl really well. So I've got plenty of liquid for the second bowl. I'm going to set that aside. So it's 30 seconds to go, but I think it's enough. So I'm just going to stop it. And you can stop at any time by just pressing your silver selector button. Okay. And it takes a while before it stops because it's safe. So I've got my Dutch carrots in there. It's scalded. It's beautiful. The blade cover has done its thing. Now, very short time, 10 seconds is enough. Remember, all you want to do is you want to make sure that it's clean, sterilized. So your veggies are sterilized. I'm just putting there 10 seconds roughly. I'm going to put the rest of the other two. Okay. All right. So it's done. And I'm going to change the camera again. Okay. So perfect, isn't it, to have the aroma helping you in your cook. So you don't have to buy a colander, you can use your aroma. So again, that will go into your jar. Just fit it in. And I'm going to remove this and set it aside. What else have you pickled before? You can pickle eggs. You can pickle fish, even cooked fish, roasted fish. That's what we do in Asia. But one of the things that I love when I was preparing my vegetables was to use my beautiful paring knife. I love it. I love it. And honestly, I had been looking for this shape and size of paring knife for the longest. And when it was selling in the mix shop, I said, oh, this is the dream come true. I really have been eyeing this. So yeah, so the final thing I just wanted to add on is because of the Dutch carrots that I got. The Dutch carrots always invariably come with the tops. And in the cookbook that we're talking about, the less waste cookbook, the carrot tops, there's a recipe to make pesto. So instead of having parsley or basil, I've made my carrot top pesto and it looks brilliant and it's beautiful. I've got pine nuts in there, cashew nuts in there, Parmesan and the olive oil. So you can make so much, you can stretch your dollar, you can stretch the produce that you buy, even the carrot tops you can use. The one big tip is that when you are preparing your carrot tops, make sure that you clean the tops really well, because they're going to be, usually everyone assumes that it's going to be thrown away. So wash it really clean to wash off any pesticide if there is, but you can, after that, just you can use it, and that's how it looks like. So it looks perfect. And this is done 3 days ago. Look at the green. It's amazing. So very simple story. Pickling liquid, pickling vegetables. What can you pickle? Everything from eggs to any vegetable you have. So remember, 3 minutes for harder vegetables, and for softer vegetables, about 10 seconds, and you have your pickled vegetables done. That's
you once again have shown me something that I didn't know, and that's one of the things I love about our cooking classes, and in fact about our business. Every time we cook together, I learn something new. I'm sure everyone else does, but I'm focused on me. I learn something new. So thank you. Hey, and I've dropped the link for that paring knife into the chat, because I've got the paring knife and the cook's knife, and oh my goodness, they have become my favorite knives straight away. They're new on our mix shop, along with the glider board that I showed you earlier. So do go and have a look. So we're going to do a little whip around of everyone's finished products. So thank you. Thank you, Tina. Leah, I'm looking at you. You look like you might be ready to go. So I'm going to spotlight you.
There we go. Thank you. Yes, and my dish is absolutely beautiful. Can't wait to dig in, actually. I'm going to just turn down my camera so you can see. So here it is here, and I've served it with some pasta or, of course, some rice. And I've actually left some for tomorrow because we're doing pizza. So I'm going to top my pizza. And it actually does make a really good quantity. This is as per the recipe. It's about 350 grams of pasta. No, I beg your pardon. There's actually more in here. So depending, of course, on what pasta you use, but that's altogether 350. But it makes quite a good quantity. Yeah, so you can use, if you're a bit like me and like to stretch your meals or your dishes, you can use some for pasta, pack some away for later on, and yeah, use it another time. But there's the mushroom spinach.
It looks fantastic, and as I said, I made it last week and absolutely converted. My father is now, who loves silverbeet, is now telling me I need to make it for him. I've pointed out he's got a TM6. He could make it himself, but I might be a nice daughter. Thank you for that. Now, Tammy, are we ready to come back to you?
Hi, Teresa.
Hello. What have you got to show us?
I have, I've already cleaned my bowl on the pre-clean mode. So this is quite a large.
Oh, hang on. I haven't spotlight. I'll just add the spotlight of your phone so that we can see a close-up of that one.
Quite a large quantity. Beautiful.
And that's the sausage ragu. Lovely.
The lamb ragu we used with sausages. And you just take, you don't have the casings, you just take the middle of the sausage out. And this is it plated up.
Lovely. That looks great. I'm going to, can you hold it in front of your, hold them both in front of, actually hold them in front of the big screen. Yes. And that way, anyone watching the recording will be able to see them as well. Look at the colour of that cocktail. Now, just for anyone who hasn't seen it, Tammy's actually popped her PDF of her deep cleaning tips into the chat.
And I do apologise, it has my name on it. I'm sorry. So just make sure you go back to your consultant that invited you today. But my neighbour's just been over.
They haven't licked it clean, Tammy.
Oh, yeah, but
Nice.
you know what? Dehydrating your own oranges, she said that was much more yummier than buying the ones in the shop. So there you go.
There you go. She almost licked it clean, and that ragu looks beautiful. So there is someone in the chat saying what time is dinner.
There's heaps.
There's heaps. It makes a lot. And again, that looks like it'd be another good one to pop in the freezer, or it would be a good one to share. So
absolutely, because there's only 2 of us here, so there'll be a portion of that definitely going in the freezer.
Magnificent. Now we have the big reveal. Are we ready, Melanie?
Yes, we are. It doesn't look super appealing, but
it looks like pulled pork.
It looks like pulled
pork.
pork.
Pork is not attractive.
Yeah,
what does it taste like? This is the taste test.
It tastes amazing. Like I am, really quite flabbergasted at how similar, especially when you think you're eating pulled pork. So this is going to go into my family's dinner tonight. We're going to do like a quesadilla style.
That was my alarm for the loaf.
That's okay. So we're going to do pulled pork and 3 different cheeses in between, kind of some homemade wraps, and grill that off as like a quesadilla style with our lovely banana peel.
That looks amazing. You know what? I'm going to give it a try. I've been meaning to, but that has inspired me.
Yeah,
and we were talking about the things that we can save. So I'm going to spotlight me instead. Sorry, Mel. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, good.
Replace spotlight. So we've been talking a lot about, how you save things and keeping things, etc. One of the things I want, and you might have guessed, I do love our mix shop. We've got so much in there that helps you to reduce waste and be good for the environment. We have these silicone Ziploc bags. Now, of course, they're not Ziploc. They've got the thread that goes on the top. But because they've got a nice wide base, you can put soups and liquids. You could actually put that ragu, you could put a lovely serve of that in there, and then just squeeze out the air at the top, seal it and pop it in the freezer. And they take up less room in your freezer than some of the big square plastic containers. I can see Anne-Marie saying, yes, they're amazing. They take up less fridge space. So I am a big fan of these, also in our mix shop. But the other thing, when we were in cooking in our experience centre in Waterloo in Sydney the other day, we were making one of the other recipes from this book, the Gwinjana biryani, and we were talking about how you save the tops of your carrots and all the rest of it. When you're making your veggie stock, as you're going through and chopping up your veggies and you've got those bits that aren't going into your dinner, pop them in here, pop them in the freezer, and next time you make veggie stock, tip them all in. Beautiful flavour and less waste. So we have come to the end. I do have to show you the banana loaf. My temperamental oven means it's just finished cooking. So hang on one moment. Oh, now it looks perfect. Before it was just a little undone. So I'm going to, you can see the apples just, you know, crisped is the word I'm looking for, crisped up a bit. I will be taking that out. I'll let it cool for a bit in its pan. I'll take it out and I will pop a photo of it up on our Insiders Facebook group for those of you who are members. And in the email that I send out after the class, it'll have a link to that page if you're not already a member. So I do have a quick poll to run at the end. We always like to just get a sense check on whether anyone needs any support or answers, or if you've seen how much fun we're having, you think, oh, maybe I should become a Thermomix consultant and have my own little business. So if you will bear with me, I'm just going to launch that poll. And in the meantime, if you can pop your answers in, I'd be really grateful. We also like to know that we've sort of, you know, given you the information that you need during these classes. But so while you're popping on and completing that, as Tammy explained so beautifully, the current offer, if you're looking at buying a TM6, is that you do get the new book and the kitchen toolkit. But we also have lots of other offers on. So we always have our host rewards if you're looking at another cooking experience. And one of the great things about cooking experience is a little bit like I was saying about whenever I cook with these guys, I learn something more. I've had a Thermomix for 11 years. I have not stopped learning. When you have more cooking experiences with your consultant, you will learn things as well. So the last thing I wanted to share while you're filling out that survey is how am I going to serve my banana loaf? Well, I'm so glad you asked mentally. I am going to serve it using butter that I made myself in my Thermomix. So a couple of months ago, cream was on sale at my supermarket. So I bought some, I made a whole pile of butter and then I froze it. So the thing I like about homemade butter is there's no additives or anything in there. In order for it to be spreadable, rather than adding oils and things, I actually just have from a local thrift shop, op shop, a beautiful glass butter dish that I keep on the bench, and it just keeps it soft enough that I can spread it on my butter, on my my banana loaf. So lots of ways that you can save money, reduce your waste, and you know, have great food at the same time. So thank you for those of you who have filled out that survey. I really appreciate it. Before we wrap up, I just wanted to check whether anyone had any questions. I'll go to a bigger view so I can see if anyone's got their hands up. But if you don't, and I'll stick around for a few minutes, it's lovely to see some familiar faces who've come to lots of our classes over the time. But it's also welcome to new people. So I am going to finish the recording, but I'll stick around in case anyone's got any questions. And Judy, you absolutely can. If you've registered for this class, I'm going to be sending out an email that will have a link to the recording. It will have links to the recipes that are on Cookie-Doo. And for those that aren't on Cookie-Doo, a link to the cookbook so you can buy it if you're interested. And as I said, I highly recommend it. And also a link to our link tree, which is like our website where we put all of our upcoming classes so that you can actually stay abreast of what else is coming up. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Honestly, Leah and I were talking this morning. Leah did a lot of the work pulling this together, so thank you, Leah. But we were talking this morning. We have so many tips we would love to share about growing your own veggies, having good food, reducing waste, saving money, that we may have to do another one of these with completely different recipes and a whole bunch more tips. So we will there. And Lindsay, thank you so much for joining us. I was watching you online. It's always nice to have our men chefs, cooks join us because, you know, everyone can cook and everyone can save time and money. And the other thing I wanted to say around this was, where was I going with that? Oh, for those of you who are in Sydney, we're going to start doing some in-person classes as well. We're just doing bit of pre-planning so that you've got time and you can plan to be there. But don't worry, we're going to keep doing our Zoom classes because we know it's not always a good idea for people to go into, you know, rooms full of other people. So, and we're also going to be starting up, hopefully from June onwards, cooking school. at our Waterloo space. So we will absolutely be keeping you all informed about that. We've got lots of really good ideas because we just want to get together and cook with people. So we'll keep you all informed. But in the meantime, if you've got any other questions, remember your consultant is your personal VIP support person. And I absolutely encourage you to keep that relationship going because you'll just keep learning the more you cook with them. So on that note, unless I get any more reminders from my beautiful people behind the scenes that I've forgotten something else, I will say thank you. Good night. I will stop that recording. I said I would.